Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia, I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. And thank you for all of the work that you have been doing. So many of us, we know about Africatown. We're learning more about the Clotilda. We're learning more about what the descendants are doing, and the level of commitment that you have to making sure people know their history and their lineage, and know their ancestry is huge. So congrats. Congrats to you. That's dope.
And let me say this. First, let me thank African Ancestry for everything that you all do. I have a very close peer colleague, Simone, who has really introduced me to African Ancestry, and I've been a big advocate of you guys. Secondly, whenever I do these interviews, I always like to acknowledge the original organization, the Africatown Direct Descendants of the Clotilda, which was incorporated in 1984. And even before then, there were other folks that have worked countless hours to kind of get this story out. And so I have to acknowledge my grandmother, Beatrice Ellis, who is the president. I have to acknowledge Theodore Arthur. I also have to acknowledge Mary Poe, Paul Poe, Miss Fernetta Henson, and then I also have to acknowledge Miss Doris Lee and Miss Ivory Hill. But then that being the original organization, the Africatown Direct Descendants of the Clotilda, a child organization was formed, which I'm now the vice president of, and that is the Clotilda Descendants Association. So I have to acknowledge the Clotilda Descendants Association, which I'm a part of, led by Darren Patterson. I am the vice president, as well as our other acting officers. So I wanted to at least acknowledge those individuals for the hard work that they continue to do on behalf of our ancestors who were brought here as enslaved Africans on the Clotilda.
Yes, absolutely. And we thank you for doing that. And now that you're getting ready to take this next step in the bridging of the chasm between those of us who were brought here and those across the ocean, what was it that made you want to particularly know, like, this line, because you did your patrilineal line for this? So what particularly interested you to try to learn more about this particular part of your ancestry, given that you know so much already?
So just to add some more context, I am a sixth generation descendant of Pollee Allen, whose African name was Pollee, and his shipmate Rose Allen, who were two of the enslaved Africans on the Clotilda. Pollee Allen, Rose Allen was Pollee's first wife, and before she passed away, and then he married Lucy Turner, who was his second wife. And Pollee had a total of 16 children. And from his first marriage, which I am a direct descendant, was Julia Allen. Julia Allen married my, who would then be my fifth generation grandfather, William Ellis. And so to show the linkage between Julia Allen, who was the daughter of Pollee and Rose Allen, and to even learn a little bit more about her husband, William Allen, who she married, who was the information that I've been able to gather there hasn't been a lot of information. So this will also help me to bridge that gap.
Gotcha. And what, once the gap is bridged, what feels like the next step for you? You know, a lot of people, they find out their ancestry, they go, what's next? What do I do? People have all these ideas. What for you would you like to be the next step once you find out today?
That's a good question. It's twofold for me. The first one is to continue to tell this story and to help pull together the full story around those 110 that were captured and brought here illegally. This helps to tell that story. I think that there's still more information for me to gather about my own lineage, and this just is another piece to that puzzle. But the second piece, and the reason why I do this relentlessly and why that passion continues to drive me, is that I have a 15-month-old daughter. And
congratulations.
Thank you. Her name is Zora. And it's important for me that she grows up knowing, understanding her lineage, her history, but then also have a sense of pride at the resilience those individuals have showed dating back to 1860. So for me, this is to help fill in those gaps and be able to share with her as well.
Amazing, amazing. And so before I get into it, I got to ask this question, which I ask of everybody who I have the privilege of doing a reveal for. Where do you think your paternal ancestry goes back to?
I don't know. Where do I really don't know. What I do know, I do have a sense and an idea of when they got married, which was, and I'm looking up because I'm trying to look at my right above me, right above my head is literally my tree, my family tree, and
Amazing.
And I keep that above my head in my office just as a reminder when I just need to reflect and go back. So I was trying to gaze at it. I can't see it now, but well, if you were to see my family tree, it kind of shows when they got married, and it also kind of shows. And then also I keep a folder that I've developed that really speaks to each one of my ancestors, what I've learned so far. So this will be added to that folder that I maintain, and will be handed down to Zora.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I think these questions are always good as a good setup before we get into it, because this is like a huge thing. So I've traced my ancestry with African Ancestry 4 times. So I know 4 genetic lineages, and each time it's felt brand new. It's felt like the first time all over again. And I've also revealed now hundreds of different people's ancestries, and each time it feels like the first time. So, so I don't know if you're nervous. I don't know if you're anxious, if you're, whatever you're feeling, but it's completely natural. And this is a special time because you have done so much work, that this moment helps you to do what you say you're doing, which is a continuum of preserving, of enhancing, and of being the custodian of your legacy. So we're really grateful to all your ancestors on your family tree and the ones that are about to be on the family tree. And so we have I think a little bit of your family tree just right here. Yep. And that's amazing because, so many of us, there are a lot of people in this country who only know their grandparents, but can't name great grands and great great grands and all of that.
And I tell everyone, and to that point, I tell everyone, it is a privilege for me to be able to have this level of detail, and then to be able to have this history and tell this story, because so many of us Black folks in America don't have this level of detail. So I do take that responsibility seriously, which is why I have to be mindful of that and be sure to pass that on to Zoe and to my family. Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, let's get into it. I don't want to keep you waiting too much longer.
Let's do it.
So you took the Patriclan test, which is significant. A lot of the times, what we know with people who take the Matriclan, who trace their maternal lineage, mother to child, is that we know 90 to 93% of the time, the results come back African. We also know that people who take the Patriclan, 65% of the time, it comes back African. 35% of the time, it comes back European. And so the first thing that I'm going to tell you is I'm going to report that you fall in the 65% percentile and bracket. So your paternal lineage, the Y chromosome that you inherited from your father, who got it from his father, all the way back 500 to 2,000 years, is consistent with lineages on the continent of Africa. So your ancestry paternally is African. What I can also tell you, and what I'm going to tell you, is not just the present day country, but the ethnic group that your ancestors come from. So we found your ancestry in a small country in West Africa. Originally, it was part of the Kabu Empire, and then was colonized by the Portuguese. Let me ask you, do you by chance like or eat cashews or ground nuts? Is that something that's in, do you snack on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, cashews are something that we snack on. And it's funny because I feel like I get that from my dad who eats a lot of cashews.
Well, so that's pretty powerful. And it's powerful because cashews and ground nuts are the heart of the economy of your people, which are on your father's lineage, and of this country. Their major economy is based on agriculture, and their main agricultural export are cashews and ground nuts. So continue eating them because this is the food of your ancestors. We also know that this particular group of people that you belong to have what's called a horizontal leadership, meaning they don't have a hierarchy. They traditionally don't have a chief and then subordinates. It was the Portuguese that put chiefs in for this particular group of people. But traditionally, your cultural ethnic group doesn't have a hierarchy. So when people talk about we need to have a place that doesn't have a hierarchy, we should look to your people. We also know that your people are the largest ethnic group of this particular present day country. Yes, so there's an image of the cashews and the ground nuts, which are the export. We also know that the definition of the name of your ethnic group means those who resist. So they got this name because they were very resistant to colonialism and to enslavement. So you come from fighters. In fact, when the country was gaining independence, this particular ethnic group were some of the main fuelers economically and financially of the liberation movements during the 60s and 70s of this country. So you come from a long line of people who were not taken any kind of nonsense from anybody. Does it sound familiar at all?
It's ringing a bell, because I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but my wife could definitely attest and confirm that these are my people, that I'm part of this group, because everything you said has been right on.
Yes. Well, and when I read, of course, more in depth about you and what you do, and then I found out where your people come from, I said, ha, it makes perfect sense. I should also mention that you have some famous cousins, some other people who have who share your ancestry. And I'll just name three. One of them is Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club, Sheila E., the famous drummer, and legendary Grammy Award-winning artist Common. So these are your genetic cousins, among many. And so I'm happy to reveal to you that you share paternal ancestry with the Balanta people living in Guinea-Bissau today.
Oh, wow.
So if you see, Guinea-Bissau is kind of right next to Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana's not far away. It's a little small country right on the coastline. In fact, actually, one of my lineages is Balanta from Guinea-Bissau, so we're cousins. And these are the people who came. So a male was able to survive the trip over, and then had children that eventually lead to you. And this is passed to, I don't know if you have brothers or sisters or siblings, cousins, uncles. And congratulations to you.
I missed that last part.
Okay.
Cut off for me, but if you could kind of go back to when the men came over, they had children.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. So this led all the way. Their children had children, and has led to you now.
Absolutely.
And so this is huge. So and this sounds consistent with everything that you're doing and everything that has been done with the descendants of the Clotilda and Africatown. So congratulations to you.
No, thank you. And all you've done now has made me want to learn more about this group of people. And really, do we know when they started to come over here as slaves? And do we know that information?
We do. And actually, there's a site started by a fellow African ancestry member called balanta.org. So it's yourethnicgroup.org, and it has a ton of information on the Balanta people and on the history of Guinea-Bissau pre-colonization up through today. And so I'm sure that, in fact, I believe I've seen it, but I know that they do have that information online. And Balanta is BALANTA.org.
This is amazing.
Yes.
This is truly amazing. I'm literally stunned at this level of detail that you all have been able to trace back to. Is this the list of?
So this is all the various people who've taken the African ancestry tests. These are all the people who know their roots from different groups of people, and different ethnic groups in different countries. And now there's you. Now you join the family. And so we officially welcome you into the African Ancestry family as a member of the Balança squad, the Guinea-Bissau squad, and of a lineage of people who are both resistant and, as you said, resilient. So everything you were describing was consistent with everything that is in your lineage. So your DNA is at work.
Man, I'm speechless and I'm excited because it's a matter of, and I'll finish this, but it's just a matter of that having this information is so powerful. Being able to this level and gain some understanding, right? It's not the full answer, it's not the full picture, but it makes sense. I mean, I'll even look at my ancestors that were on the Clotilda and knowing that some of the agricultural things he was doing on top of what you've just exposed to me from William Ellis's side. And those are natural to me. Those are the things that I do I have a garden back outside my house, and
wow.
Yeah, I have a garden and I'm growing my own vegetables and fruits, and this is really, really, really amazing. So thank you all, and thank everyone just for giving me this information.
Absolutely. And we thank you, and because you're helping to break cycles. You're helping to make sure we know for sure who we really are. And there's so much power when you remember who you are and when you incorporate that into your life. And you've been doing that for a long time. Your family and the descendants of all of those who you've named and have been doing that for a long time. So we're happy to contribute to the work that you're already doing, to inspire all of us and empower all of us to know our roots, remember who we are, and become the custodians of a rich legacy. So I'm super excited for you. I'm going to have some cashews today in your honor at some point.
Well, I mean, if you're my cousin, it'll be in your honor as well, because
yes, indeed.
We come from the same tribe, my brother.
That's right. That's right. And so hopefully I'll get to make it to where you are and make it to Africatown, and we could have some cashews together as family and as African ancestry family. And if you want, we can take a look at the Balanta Birasa site, which was created by one of your cousins.
Absolutely.
I don't know, Rolando, if we can bring that up. But you can kind of see and get an overlay of the site. So this is the site here. And since more people are discovering, and Guinea-Bissau, let me see. Yep, he's scrolling now. So he's scrolling now. And so this is the whole, oh yeah. You've got history. You've got genealogy. Oh yeah, this is going to be fresh. See, I'm going to tell you something, Jared. When I got my ancestry in 2009, I did my maternal lineage, and there was none of this around. So, since then, there have been so many more people who are discovering, oh, look at that. I don't know, these look like your cousins. I'm looking at these pictures. These just look like you. I don't know if you got some red hats like that, but this looks like
the red don't mix with the purple.
Don't mix with the purple and go. I understand. I went to Howard. Totally get it. But yeah, so this is a site. It just has some videos. It has some written materials, some explanations. So, and there's a whole book. Those who resist remain, volume 1 and volume 2. So this is going to be amazing. So we'll make sure that you get all of this information. Oh, it's volume 3. Oh man, I am going to have to get on this myself more. But this is amazing. Thank you, Rolando, for showing this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so awesome, man. So those are some resources to get. You can always contact African Ancestry. We always have, info of people who are doing Facebook group for descendants of Guinea-Bissau and for Balanta people. So there's plenty of resources out there to start to get your questions answered and get you off on your journey. So again, congrats and welcome home and welcome back to the Balanta family.
So thank you all. This has been amazing. Thank you, African Ancestry, for doing this. And man, this is great. So thank y'all.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. This is why we remember who we are.
I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia, I wanna know ya.